welcome to the deep dive
Oh, hello.
into training analysis.
Yeah.
We are going to unpack some really fascinating stuff
Yeah.
from chapter 1 of a text that is all about training analysis. And I think this is going to be super relevant to anyone who's in HR or managing a team, even if you're just curious about how learning really works.
Yeah.
This is really interesting stuff.
Yeah. It's foundational. This chapter really digs into what training analysis isn't
Okay.
off the bat.
Okay.
And it's not just like a quick needs assessment.
Got it.
It's like you're really going deep
Okay.
into the why, the what,
Yeah.
and the how of training
Okay.
before you even design anything.
So it's like we're laying the foundation before we build.
Exactly.
Okay.
You wouldn't build a skyscraper
Right.
without knowing about the soil conditions or
Yeah.
what kind of weight it needs to bear.
Right.
And so in the training world, if you have a shaky foundation,
Yeah.
that leads to a shaky structure. And that means wasted resources, frustrated employees, and ultimately a program that just doesn't deliver.
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not good.
So the source also mentions that training analysis is important for both designing AD evaluating training.
Yes. This is key.
It's not just a one-time thing?
No, it's a continuous cycle.
Okay.
So analysis helps you design effective training.
Yeah.
But it also gives you the framework
Okay.
to measure the impact.
Gotcha.
Did it actually improve performance?
Yeah.
Did it achieve the desired business outcomes?
So this is where they bring up the ADI model.
Yes. The ADI model.
Analysis, design,
Development.
implementation,
And evaluation.
and valuation.
Wow. What's a lot?
But it makes sense.
Okay. Each phase builds on the last one, and then evaluation feeds back into the analysis for the next round
Gotcha.
of improvement.
So it's like this constant
It is.
feedback loop,
It's a loop.
refining the process as we go.
Precisely. And within that loop,
Yeah.
setting SMART objectives is key.
Smart objectives.
Yeah.
So that's specific, achievable,
relevant,
and time-bound.
time-bound.
So a SMART objective might be something like increase sales conversion rates by 10% within 3 months of the training program.
Like it.
Right?
Concrete.
It gives you a target,
Yes.
something to aim for.
We're being strategic.
Yes.
We're setting goals.
Yes.
Measuring results.
Absolutely. And that's where the power is.
Yeah.
It's making sure that training is a worthwhile investment,
Okay.
not just a box to check.
So the source doesn't just focus on individual.
Learning talks about the bigger picture too.
Yeah.
It mentions something called organizational context.
That is crucial.
What's that all about?
It means considering things like company culture,
Okay.
strategic goals,
Mhm.
resources available.
Yeah.
For example, you wouldn't roll out a high-tech training program
Right.
if the company doesn't have the infrastructure to support it.
So it's got to fit
It's got to fit.
with the personality
Yeah.
of
yeah.
the company,
Yeah.
what they're trying to do.
Yeah, training that's misaligned with the organizational context is like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
It's just not going to work.
It won't work.
I'm seeing how training analysis is so much more than just figuring out what skills people need.
It's the whole ecosystem
That's the whole ecosystem.
where that learning takes place.
Wow.
And speaking of understanding the ecosystem,
Okay.
the source also dives into learner characteristics.
Okay.
This is where it gets interesting.
This is my favorite part. Recognizing that everyone learns differently. So we all have different learning styles, different levels of experience, different needs.
Absolutely.
So how does training analysis?
So that's where the analysis goes deeper.
Okay.
You need to consider things like demographics,
Okay.
prior knowledge, learning preferences, and even potential barriers to learning.
Like what?
Are your learners tech savvy?
Okay.
Or do they prefer more traditional methods?
Gotcha.
Do they have time constraints, language barriers?
It's tailoring a suit.
It is.
You wouldn't just expect it to fit everyone perfectly.
Exactly.
You have to tailor it
You got to tailor it.
to the person.
And in the training world, that tailoring process
Yeah.
can make the difference between a program that
Oh,
truly
definitely.
engages learners
Yeah.
and one that falls flat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's where analyzing technology comes in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not just about people and personalities.
It's not just about that.
It's about the tools and platforms they're using too.
Absolutely. Are you going for e-learning,
Okay.
in-person workshops, mobile apps? Each has its strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
And so analyzing
Yeah.
your learner's tech access and comfort level is crucial.
Yeah, you could have this amazing virtual reality training program.
Exactly.
And it's totally useless.
It's useless.
If nobody can access it.
Nobody can access it.
Or if their internet's too slow.
Or if they just don't like using that tech.
So wasted investment.
Yeah.
Frustrated learners.
Frustrated learner. Yep. And this is all before we even get to the content of the training itself.
Okay.
Which brings us to another key skill highlighted in this chapter.
The source mentions identifying performance gaps.
Yes.
That sounds pretty crucial.
It's the heart of why we train in the first place.
Okay.
What's the ideal performance level?
Gotcha.
And where are employees falling short? But it's not enough to just say, oh, sales are down, we need training. You got to be
more nuanced.
More nuanced than that.
Yeah.
This chapter introduces the performance analysis quadrant.
Oh, this sounds interesting.
It's a fascinating tool.
Okay.
It breaks down performance issues into 4 areas.
4, okay.
Lack of knowledge.
Okay.
Lack of skill.
Okay.
Lack of motivation, or environmental factors.
Oh, interesting.
So maybe sales are down,
okay,
but not because the team doesn't know how to sell.
Okay.
Maybe the CRM system is clunky, or their commission structure isn't motivating.
They're not incentivized.
They're not incentivized, exactly.
Right.
And without that analysis, you might throw a sales training at a problem that's rooted in something totally different.
Totally different.
Waste of time and money.
Makes sense.
This quadrant forces you to dig deeper.
Okay, like we've been saying all along, it's about being strategic.
Yes.
Intentional.
Intentional.
Not just reactive.
Not reactive, exactly. And once you've identified those performance gaps, the source walks us through recommending solutions.
Because this is where we get creative.
This is where the creativity comes in.
So we're not just talking about picking a course from a catalog.
No.
We're designing tailored learning experiences to address specific gaps.
Specific gaps, exactly.
That's cool.
It might be mentoring, on-the-job coaching, a blended learning approach.
I like it.
It all depends on the context, the learners, the budget, and of course those SMART objectives we talked about.
So speaking of SMART objectives,
yes,
they're not just for design.
They're not.
They're also for evaluation.
They are, absolutely. How do you know if the training worked? Unless you've got clear, measurable goals to crack against.
It's data-driven.
It's data-driven.
Okay.
And it goes beyond just asking, did you like the training? That tells you nothing about the actual impact.
Okay.
This is where they bring up the different levels of evaluation.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
Formative
evaluation is ongoing.
Okay.
Feedback during the training itself, so you can adjust on the fly.
Oh, I like that. Like we're building the plane as we're flying it.
Yeah. And then summative is the big picture.
Okay.
Did it achieve the desired outcomes?
Okay.
This might involve pre- and post-tests, performance reviews, even business metrics tied back to the training goals.
So it's about being accountable.
It's about being accountable.
We're proving that the training made a difference.
Proving it made a difference, exactly.
Okay.
And this whole evaluation piece loops back into the next cycle of analysis. What worked? What didn't? What needs to be tweaked next time?
It's that continuous improvement.
It's continuous improvement.
We're not just throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Not at all.
Okay.
And that brings us to perhaps the most overlooked aspect of training analysis.
What's that?
The organizational context.
Oh.
It's like you said earlier, understanding the whole ecosystem.
Okay.
They mention company culture, strategic goals, resources. But how do you actually analyze that?
It's not like a survey.
It's not like giving someone a survey, no.
Yeah.
It requires a different skill set.
Okay, like what?
Observation interviews.
Okay.
Even analyzing company documents, policies, performance data.
Oh, wow.
What are the unspoken values?
That's interesting.
Where's the company headed?
Yeah.
What are the budget constraints? All of this influences what kind of training is even feasible.
Makes sense.
Let alone effective.
It's like we're anthropologists.
It's a great way to put it.
Uncovering these hidden layers.
Uncovering the hidden layers.
Yeah.
And this ties back to the final skill highlighted in this chapter.
Okay.
Aligning training with business goals. If you haven't done the deep dive into organizational context, this alignment is impossible.
You could be training people on skills the company doesn't even need.
Exactly.
Or promoting values that are totally misaligned with the culture.
Yeah. Wasted investment, frustrated learners, and potentially even damage to the organization's overall goals.
This is incredible.
It is.
We thought we were just talking about training. But this is so much more.
It's a whole field.
It's a
nuanced strategic field.
World.
Yeah, it's not just a checklist of tasks.
We've uncovered like a whole hidden world behind something that we just took for granted.
It's true.
Like how many times have we heard, oh, we need training for this?
Yeah.
But we didn't even really...
You don't even know what that means.
Yeah, we don't know what that means.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And that's the shift.
Okay.
This chapter encourages moving from reactive to proactive.
Okay.
From assumptions to data-driven decisions.
I like it.
It's exciting.
This source wraps up by talking about how the world of work is constantly changing. Technology's evolving.
It is.
The skills we need are shifting rapidly.
Constantly shifting.
So how does training analysis stay relevant?
That's where the real power of this field comes in.
Okay.
It's not about learning a fixed set of rules.
Gotcha.
It's about developing a mindset. Like a way of thinking critically, asking the right questions, and constantly adapting your approach.
So
it is.
We have to become lifelong learners.
You got to be a lifelong learner.
Ourselves.
Yeah.
About learning.
About learning. Exactly. That's meta.
It's very meta.
Okay.
And that's something the source doesn't explicitly say, but I think it's implied through.
The best training analysts are curious. They're always seeking new information.
Makes sense.
New methods, new perspectives.
Yeah, they're like
the cutting edge.
They're on the cutting edge, which keeps them ahead of the curve, able to design training that's not just effective today, but prepares people for the challenges of tomorrow.
I like it.
Future-proof.
Future-proofing.
Our workforce. This has been really eye-opening.
It's fascinating stuff.
Anyone who manages people designs learning programs, just in charge of their own professional development.
Absolutely.
Should know this stuff.
They should really understand this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like
we've just scratched the surface.
This deep dive is just the beginning.
Yeah.
There's so much more to explore in this field, from specific evaluation methods to emerging trends in learning tech.
It's given me a whole new perspective.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. On how to approach training and development.
It's a game changer.
It really is.
Yeah.
I bet our listeners are feeling the same way.
I hope so.
Thank you so much for taking this journey with us.
It was my pleasure.
It was awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Keep learning.
Yes.
Keep questioning.
Keep pushing the boundaries.
Push the boundaries.
Of what's possible.
Of what's possible in training.
In training and in life.
And in life, that's a good note to end on, I think.
I think so too.
Also, thanks again.
Thanks.